All right, welcome back to the channel. This is the ChatBox, where we sit to talk about issues that affect you, that affect me, that will affect our children. So as we talk, we pray that you pick something. If you're a stakeholder, if you're a policymaker, this is for you. If you like your country, this is for you. If you like the earth, this is for you. So my name is David Gita as usual, and today I am with a friend of mine called Mr. Sam, and I'll let him introduce himself in just a moment. But in case you haven't subscribed already, this is the time for you. Go ahead and click that subscription button. Also click the notification bell to be notified every time we release a new episode. This will be coming to you periodically, so we want you to be part of the process. Remember to send your views, send your comments. We are here. This is your space, my space, it's everybody's space. And this is the ChatBox. Welcome to ChatBox.
Oh, thank you very much, David.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, our viewers. David, thank you for inviting me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But most importantly, yes, it is important that we pay attention to what the communities are affected.
Before we even get there,
Yes.
I want my people to know who you are.
Well,
I don't want to take the catastrophe.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. My name is Samuel Nikoma.
Yeah.
I should call myself a social impact PR. Social
impact PR.
Yes. Most of my activities down my life has been trying as much as possible to identify the challenges communities are facing and what solutions can I be able to provide for those solutions. But most importantly, not forgetting, does it also transform into economic transformation in my wallet, in your wallet, and to the better scale of community?
You guy.
That is where we're looking at.
You guy, you've complicated things now.
Yes.
Now to the wallet. Your wallet, my wallet.
Yeah, absolutely. Most of the time, there are those problems are a source of, you look at problems, and it is through problems that we find a need. That need must lead to a change, but while you're doing all these activities, you must be able to see what is the investment. Without exploiting the person in need, but also being seen as gaining out of that situation.
Yeah.
For instance, every farmer goes down and digs and plants his crop.
Yeah. In expectation.
In expectation.
Yeah.
So that crop that you're going to harvest is going to feed the needy.
Yeah.
But there has to be a monetary gain.
Yeah.
Or an economic transformation. And if they are fed well, then there'll be social and better healthy people out there because of your tools of your hands have led to that type of transformation.
I hear you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what kind of community problems have you been looking at so that we pick one of them and start there?
Oh, yes. I should tell you that we have the youth community problems. Many of the youth lack guidance. So one of the most critical community problems I selected was to bring youth together in terms of a rugby, take them to an organized environment of playing rugby. And I must say that many youth have passed through our hands.
Wait, are you saying youth are a problem to the community?
Absolutely. When they're not well guided.
Okay.
When they don't have proper guidance, proper leadership, proper mentorship. So you provide a platform. That means you have to go ahead and find what tool are you going to use to ensure that these youth are directed towards that.
Yeah.
So any youth or a young child or a student wants to play. So you provide rugby as a tool of transformation.
Okay.
Therefore, getting rid of issues like maybe
issues
drug
that
abuse
come from being idle. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So drug abuse, pickpocketing here, phone snatching, and things like that.
Absolutely.
But wait, I thought the youth are more inclined towards a sporting activity called soccer. But now you bring in a new thing called rugby.
Yes.
Let's go from that point.
Yeah, let's look at it. Soccer, there are different tools you can use to create transformation. A young lad or a young girl out there is seeking to learn.
Yep.
So soccer is congested. So if you come up with games like rugby, if you come up with games like alternatives, frisbee, table tennis. So the few who are on the bench or who seem to be marginalized in the soccer environment
they have an opportunity
absolutely.
Here.
So you give them what they call a wider range to select from.
And I like the fact that sports has a way. It's like a multiple benefit kind of activity.
Absolutely.
From health,
absolutely,
fitness, and the problem you're trying to take care of, the idleness being kicked out. Plus, eventually, if they work hard towards it, I think they can go into the pro series where they can earn a bit of a...
Let me give you a typical scenario.
Yeah.
When you have sports that is organized, so many a time if there's no leadership around the sport, then you'll find certain negative influences coming into the sport. But what we are trying to do is to make sure that we provide them a platform, an organized setting, where you can be able to talk to them, where they can aspire. So they look at you having played rugby at a certain level, and you're coming down to them and reminding them. So you bring in point.
So wait a moment. Wait a second. So are you trying to say that you also played?
Absolutely. That's the interesting thing about.
I don't remember. See, anyway, yeah. Tell us about your.
Man, rugby is my life. We can look at back in school in St. Mary's College, Subi. I learned rugby.
You're a smart guy.
Yes, I'm a smart guy.
Yeah.
Yes, Smakra.
Give a shout out.
Smakra.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in Smack, they give an opportunity to play all games.
Yeah.
I can tell you for a fact that we were spoiled of choice.
Yeah.
But I will tell you about marginalization, because soccer was the go-to game.
Yeah.
We had soccer, we had rugby, we had basketball. Yeah, I was devoid of height, so yeah, good stuff. I was devoid of height, but so I chose and said, if soccer, there was a lot of competition. Not that I was a bad soccer player. There was a lot of competition. I was wiser at a young age to select rugby, because I had some little energy, I had the desire. So like when I go and play rugby, I won't be on the bench.
Yeah.
So, and guess what? I was on the school team.
That's smartness.
So it was smartness at
Wisdom.
an early age.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that fact of selecting rugby as a sport to cause social impact at my small level was as a result of early notification, understanding my weaknesses, or maybe my environment.
I hear you.
After senior 6, I joined Makerere University. I can be honest with you that I played for the university team that was Impis.
Yeah.
Impis Rugby.
Did you win any?
Absolutely, we were a very brilliant team. Unfortunately, we were one of the best teams that ever set foot of rugby in Makerere University down the day. Yeah. I also want to take this opportunity to salute the dead heroes of my time. Who my former captain Herbert Wafula. Yeah. He passed on 2 years ago. A very interesting gentleman whom I took over from the scrum half position. Dr. Samuel Nikoma passed on with cancer last year. And many heroes of the sport have gone to join the Lord. But Humphrey Owino, very, very nice player, Kenyan based. He passed on as well. But in a good thing, that they brought the best out of us on pitch.
Yeah, it pulls up a very important principle which you started on, that they were able to multiply themselves.
Absolutely.
They didn't sit on the talent. Because we find many people who are good at things, they want to die with it. They don't want to share tips, they don't want to mentor someone. Absolutely. But the moment that they come out, like you said, and bring out a new generation, which we're trying to do, which you tell us about, I think it's a good thing.
David, let me tell you for a fact that having played rugby at the university, I was quite a good player. Of course, after university, you're looking for a job. I was called on the national team, but because of my work schedule, I never got to play for the national team. But after university, because of planting seed, I was coming out of the town in Entebbe. Yeah. And I must say that I'm also one of the founders of Entebbe Mongers rugby team.
You are?
Yes.
Big up.
So
respect to you, man.
So all the Mongers fans there, you know the struggle went to. I want to also still salute the gentlemen who gave us the first game that we ever played of rugby in Entebbe. Still teammates of Impis Rugby. Of course, Brian Makalama, shout out, is one of the national team coaches we have right now. We had very good players who joined us at the time, and they really tried to bring that talent, to encourage the community. Yeah. And from that seed that we planted in the community, that was the first game we played, and many of the players the boys who came on that pitch, they barely knew rugby, but they were intentional.
So they picked it up from there, and then they took it far.
Today, Entebbe rugby community has up to about 4 teams.
Wow.
It was the first team of rugby out of Kampala.
Wow. So most of them were centered around Kampala?
Absolutely.
Is there any other part of the country it's spreading to Jinja?
You know, Jinja, of course, Jinja actually had been having a rugby pitch long ago, but somehow they were in and out of the circuit, and the growth was not there. Yeah. So with Entebbe Mongers, or the Entebbe rugby seed planted, was an awakening call. I should say that through that initiative, today Uganda Rugby Union have footprint nearly all over the place, all over Uganda. Many other people like me have planted seeds of rugby. Yeah. Yeah, we have Gulu elephants coming up.
Question for you, before I forget. So where do you find these youth that you bring onto the table?
You study your environment.
Yeah.
And then, for instance, we have schools.
Yeah.
The burden on the teacher, on the career teacher out there is a lot.
Yeah.
So when we go to the schools, Entebbe, like for Entebbe, we have Entebbe SS, so, we have the Entebbe parents, we have schools around Entebbe.
Yeah.
We even had players coming as far from Monkumba University joining the Mongers. So we get them from the communities.
Yeah.
And these are day schools. So between the time of leaving school and going back home, a lot can happen.
Yeah.
So when we provide the channel to redirect that idleness between school and home.
Yeah.
So you come to the pitch, train, and then go back home, tired, sleep, and then wake up in the morning. So you anticipate every day. So we use the community, that approach, to the schools. And of course, we also have community outreach programs.
Yeah.
Some individuals, border riders. We have people who join from border to come and play rugby.
Yeah.
And sure. So
I mean, this is Uganda we're talking
absolutely.
about. Once people see you gather, they will come and see what's up.
How do you pass that
seeing
ball?
what's up, they get involved.
The question was, how do you pass the over ball?
Speaking of which, can you take us through how the game runs? I'm here talking, but I know there are people out there who don't have a clue. Soccer they know, netball they know, basketball they know, but how is just quickly?
Rugby is, we have an over ball.
Yeah.
It's an egg-shaped ball.
It's like a
pawpaw-shaped. Yeah. Rugby is a ball. When you hold the ball, the first principles of rugby, you don't pass the ball ahead of your player.
Yeah.
You pass it backwards. Down. We call it down the line.
Really?
So if I have the ball right here, you must be just behind my shoulder.
Okay.
So I can be able to pass it to you. So it's a ball down the line.
Yeah.
That's one of the principles of rugby. Once you get to know how to pass the ball down the line and walk along, because you have to make forward movements. So you make a few steps or you run and then you pass ball, but never pass it ahead.
Yeah.
Like soccer, you can kick ahead.
Yeah.
Netball, you can pass it all over. Basketball, you can do it whatever you want.
Yeah.
But that's rugby.
Yeah.
Then other principles of rugby, we have what's called the scrum, which is where the people hit themselves.
Yeah.
They come together. That is a competition for the ball.
Yeah.
It's put in by a scrum half. Normally you can have 3, 5, or 8 people coming in together. It's called a scrum down.
Yeah.
The scrum down, the scrum half puts in the ball, and the top 3 people, who are opponent teams, are just like that.
Yeah.
They try to compete for the ball when it's down on the ground.
Yeah.
But with energy, so you push yourself. So it is a lot of energy in there.
Yeah.
So that's one of the principles of rugby. Very interesting part. Once the ball is out, it's called a scrum half. That's like the midfielder passes the ball to a fly half, and the fly half does this thing still yet down the line.
Yeah.
So, and when we score, as the ball moves progressively, we have what's called a try.
Uh-huh.
Our try is we score. There's a line. Let's imagine the dead end of it's called if you look at soccer, where the goal line is.
Yeah.
We also have, that's our goal line.
Yeah.
So we get the ball and go over the line.
I see them kicking.
Oh yes, kicking still. If you look at how we kick, I'm going to come to that because you score the try.
Yeah.
It's called a try. Each try is 5 points.
Okay.
Then when you score the try, the referee, where the ball touches, the try is when you touch down.
Yeah.
Beyond the goal line. Then the referee moves backwards.
Yeah.
Along that line.
Yeah.
It has to be along it's called a touch line, but along the line, touch line.
Yeah.
Then you have to kick through the posts.
Okay.
That kick is normally 2 points.
Okay.
Yes, that is when the try situation. Then you have the penalty situation, where that kick will attract 3 points.
Okay.
Yes. And another interesting thing about rugby, we have what we call a sin bin.
Yeah.
So the sin bin is a yellow card. So when they give you a yellow card, you go and sit out for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Then we have the red card is a direct is a director.
You're ejected.
You're out of the
You don't come back.
You don't come back.
Okay. So how many team members are there on one side?
Rugby is a very interesting sport.
Yeah.
We have 7 aside.
Yeah.
We have 10 aside. Then you have 15 aside. Rugby international, big international games.
Yeah.
It's 15 aside rugby, like the Rugby World Cup.
So 15 on one side,
Yes,
and 15 on the other side.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. Of those, that even divisions still there. It's kind of like a military type of setup.
Yeah.
We have the forwards and then we have the backs.
Yeah.
In that setup.
Maybe someday I'll understand the game.
It's a full session.
But I wanted to ask you. So you now back to you as Mr. Samuel.
Absolutely.
So you have a passion to get as many youth involved in this.
Let me tell you. When you walk on the streets and somebody calls you coacher, that's being a coach.
That's where your name coach comes from.
Yes. So
now, me, I thought was maybe an AKA thing, maybe a high school thing.
No, it's it's the people you've touched.
Yeah.
People you've touched, and that alone, you go back and reflect and see the impact you've had over time. And I encourage anybody out there, if you have some talent and have some time, you can dedicate it to sports, making an impact, especially to the youth, because I can't say that some of the when you look the lives that the sport has touched, you get amazed.
So maybe someone out there is listening and they are starting to think about it, and they have a question of like, okay, so how do I start?
How do I get involved?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe with your rugby or whatever talent they have, but where do they start? How do you start?
You know, as a young man, first and foremost, as anybody, find the community close to you that might be able to address that need.
Everybody belongs to the community.
Absolutely.
So start where you live.
So yes, if you find, and if there's a gap, then for rugby we have Uganda Rugby Union, which is basically the principal governing body for rugby. So you can contact them that sit down in Lugogo in the stadium. So that is it. But in the communities like for Entebbe, communities in Gulu, you actually go down there, you'll find some people you get contacts with. I can't share much. For Entebbe, we have a very interesting gentleman, Chigongo Sebalamu. He's a former journalist as well. So he's a passionate person.
Someday we'll have him on the show.
Right now, he's the strength and conditioning coach for the rugby sevens team of the ladies.
Wow.
Yeah, and his passion. These are the people we were in the trenches with them.
Yeah.
From day one.
Yeah.
And today I'm very proud to say that we've had players we've touched lives with who have played for the national team now from Mongers.
The guys you've handled?
Yes.
Wow.
Adigas, Ronald, big up, Olwen, Andrew. There are people who joined the sevens team, but Badje. Yeah. We've touched some lives and we're still touching more.
Okay. Yeah. So how do I, I've discovered I have this talent, I have this expertise, this profession. Where do I find the boys, the youth, the people to bring on? Do I just walk and say, hello, are you interested?
We are very glad that we have a fully fledged ground for rugby in Entebbe, which was donated to us.
Speaking for rugby,
yes.
But I want you to also expand it because different people have different needs.
Yeah. First thing is that the beautiful thing about needs, it comes from you. Yeah. You want to get involved. Yeah. So you have to be able to go beyond and find where do I start getting involved with. So let's take an example. They'll point to the colleague. They'll signpost you to where the golf club is if you want to get involved in golf. Yeah. They'll signpost you to the soccer pitch or maybe the basketball court. Yeah. And once you get there, they're going to be individuals just like me. Yeah. Who'll say, "Oh, how are you doing?" Yeah. That courtesy. Yeah. And say, "Oh, you can introduce yourself." Yeah. I'm from Bugangazi. Yeah. I'm from Bugangazi. So
you talked about leadership. Yes. Like you can start with your team. And you say, let's contribute a few shillings. Yes. Mobilizing. And then you...
And some of them will not have where to get this money from. Yeah. So you find that now, and that's where we come in at one of the skills later I'm going to talk about my social marketing. Yeah. So I needed to go and address this problem to people whom I think can contribute to to this cause.
To the cause, yeah.
Yes. For instance, in Entebbe, we have we have a gentleman. It's called John Neal. We met him in a bar. Yeah. We have the Four Turkeys bar. Yeah. I mean, many people would see me going to the bar, but they think I'm going to the bar to drink. No, my intention to be in the bar was to be able to talk to these individuals,
to build a network.
To be able to support the rugby the rugby club.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd find myself. I mean, Four Turkeys bar used to support the Entebbe Mongers team. Yeah. We had a very interesting gentleman, may his soul rest in peace, as Uncle Silva Chiwanoka and Uncle Edward Tumusime. Yeah. Those gentlemen were leaders in Entebbe. Yeah. But they used to come to this local bar called Four Turkeys, and they'll tell me, Sam, find us there. Yeah. So I would sit in this bar up to 3 a.m.
in the morning.
And these gentlemen, this team of players of mine have a game on Saturday. Yeah. So I would sit in the bar. So somehow they tell me, Sam, have a drink. Painful, you take the drink. Yeah. So you at 3 a.m., Uncle Silva, the late Chiwanuka, and maybe Edward Tumusime, will tell you, you find us home. You can imagine you go back home without money. The players have to leave Entebbe to Kampala at 7 a.m. Yeah. It's raining in Entebbe. I'd walk about 4 kilometers from my home to go to meet Uncle Silva at 6 a.m. to give me transport money. Yeah. Get money from Edward Tumusime, and the players will be waiting at the
For you
stage to bring
oh my
transport.
God, just for transport.
Now that is leadership. That is now social, understanding the social, where to seek for social assistance.
Yeah.
So it is a concept
Yeah.
that I realized was my niche.
Yeah.
And I grew it around those. So when you find a problem, you
Yeah.
raise up to the occasion.
Yeah.
And identify who are my targets, who can be able to ally with me to fulfill the needs of the players.
Yeah.
So I was able to understand these people, leaders in the community, can actually support.
Yeah.
So you'd find me in Fort Turkeys. The people used to call Fort Turkeys, Samuel Nikoma.
Yeah.
But it was where
You
I
had
get
a
the
reason
networks.
to go there.
It was why it's the reason.
Yeah.
And most of the time the reason was to ensure that the rugby team of Entebbe Mongers attends their game.
Okay.
Some players have no boots, so you have to sit down and find a story. So Silver Channel gives you maybe like this amount of money, then it's okay, transport will be this amount. Let's save and buy boots for this player.
Yeah.
Or balls. So such was the leadership that we had to provide for the growth in that place. And it's all about, it's in community.
Now, share with us your heart. Why in the world would a guy like you experience, you have work to do, you have a family to run, give time? Someone out there wants to know, why should I give time towards serving the community, towards giving my expertise for free, towards mentoring, towards developing another set of youth? What was at the back of your mind?
You know, there are people that we've met before in our lives that did the same thing towards us.
Oh yeah.
You know, so it is you've reached a time where you also have to give back. So it is how you are groomed into these roles.
That's why it's called giving back.
Giving back. You don't even understand where it comes from.
Yeah.
It's like planted to you that now is the time to, even because you've been in the space, for instance, in sports or in your community, they look at you as a leader. You find these young people realize, let's go to Sam or David. Is an easier person to approach because they've seen how you interact with them.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened to me as a young player. One of the teams I played for during my senior six VAC, Rhinos rugby team. There were gentlemen. There's a gentleman who's running a very good program. It's called Andrew Wiekwaso.
Yeah.
Very, very good program. It's called Sembeza. It's actually Sports Uganda. It's
Yeah.
still Impact.
Yeah.
But this gentleman has been involved in sports through Impact.
Yeah.
And many people want relevance, want to impact on the people in need.
Yeah.
And Andrew Wiekwaso, myself, and any other person, the people have churches. Churches come as a calling because you bring people together and addressing the need.
Actually, speaking of churches, which is where I belong, back to the scripture, the Bible, Jesus says, whatever you did to the least among these, you actually did to me.
Absolutely.
So by bringing up 1 more, 2 more, 10 more young people in the community, you're actually doing it to Jesus.
There are some interesting individuals in sports.
Yeah.
There is a gentleman I just watched the other day. I told you about him the other day, Chris Eubank. If Chris Eubank had 500 pounds, and you ask for it, he'll give you his last 500 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
So
do we still have people like that?
Let me tell you, I ask myself a question sometimes and say, Sam, are you that silly or dumb to give this guy?
Do we still have people? People are like Mfunidawa. There are people who actually are stewards of community resources.
Yes.
They are in political leadership
Absolutely.
roles, maybe organizations, and they actually take that which was supposed to be for the community.
Let me tell you.
That's even a deeper mile. So now you're calling us to be people who actually want to take our own resources, mobilize resources to give to community. Do we have such people?
Let me tell you, one of the conflicts of minds I have as an individual is I think I'm also a giver. And I've been fighting, when am I going to stop giving?
You overgive.
You find yourself giving.
You're almost giving yourself
I'm
away.
telling you, if only, and it is in everybody.
Yeah.
You find that if God has blessed you and where you are with the little resources I mean, David, we are right now in the UK, for instance.
Yeah.
And many people down at home do a quick calculations and know that if you're getting maybe £5 an hour, oh God, that's
it doesn't even matter how much you get. The moment you live abroad, out there.
So the need comes in. So individuals will find, and it's because of your previous interaction with them, you've been supporting them, you've been showing concern, you actually don't even realize how this creeping this giving spirit is creeping onto you.
Yeah.
But if you go back and assessed why you are actually giving, it's because of the favors the people before me handed to me.
Yeah.
There are people who could have been able to take you maybe to court. There are people who could have been able to chase you from a community, but they accepted you the way you are.
Yeah.
So that is something you reflect.
Yeah.
And when you say no, the next thing you say, okay, well, I will give you the balls.
Sam, there's someone who will tell you, man, me have hustled. My family abandoned me. My father neglected us. My mom also remarried and went somewhere. They took me to Georgia, who was also busy and old. And then I had to hit the streets. On the streets, I got beaten. I got mistreated. They feel like nobody has been there for them.
Yeah.
So they feel like they don't have to be there for anybody. Like if I made it, everybody should have their own. What do you say to such people?
I will tell you, life, though nothing under the sun has not been done before. There are cycles of life.
Yeah.
God puts you in that position. If God blesses you who has hustled through, guess what will happen? Your offsprings, you'll try to give your offspring their best.
Yeah.
In that cycle, your offspring will have much, and also it's a cycle.
Yeah.
It's a cycle. So if I become tough on my money today, I'm planting a wrong seed to my children and my environment.
Yeah.
So that means I'm creating bad reception.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it comes to you and you realize it early, we pray for those ones who have made it, that have hustled so much. But if you reflect over, let's not take our past to be the reason of not to progress or to change.
And then again, back to the Bible. The Bible says it is more blessed to give than to receive.
I'm telling you.
So we shouldn't be kind of people who always want to receive, who want to see what have they given me.
Even to hold back.
Yeah.
To hold back on what you've received already.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a trader and you're selling at profit, what is wrong with giving to a community of sports maybe a community of sports of boys playing a game around the corner? I'll give you a scenario. I ran a small shop one time.
Yeah.
And if I have the shop, there were sometimes items that were not selling.
Yeah, they're not moving.
They're not moving.
It's dead stock.
And and God put me in a location that it was, oh God, I've not seen so much poverty in my life.
Yeah.
There's a lady who had twins, and I can tell you for a fact she looked malnourished.
Yeah.
I took it upon myself. You probably make about 500 shillings of a kilo, not even about 200 shillings of a kilo of sugar. Yes.
Yeah.
But I would quickly calculate. I'll tell the shopkeeper, no,
let's get the profit.
Yes, let's get the sale just and the profit. Give a kilo of sugar to that person.
Yeah.
There were time I'd just wait and say, okay, a bar of soap to there were like 3-4 ladies who had a critical need because I saw that they would come to the shop and buy half a bar of soap.
Yeah.
They even ask you. There used to be a kilo. I'd never seen that people can actually sell sugar in 100 grams.
Yeah.
So I saw this.
For those who don't know, back home in Uganda where we come from, we have to the smallest measurement.
Detail,
Why?
yes,
Because the communities where we come from, that's all they can afford.
Absolutely.
So we'll get the bar of soap, take it out of the wrap,
and split
cut it in half, cut it in a quarter, then quarter of a quarter.
Absolutely.
Because that's what the woman, the lady next door can afford.
Absolutely.
If you don't do that, you have no business. So
the fact that it keeps coming back every day.
Yeah.
For me to okay, fine, it's a no-brainer. I think I ask her, so how are you doing? I do my figures. So give 1 kilo. The 1 kilogram of sugar, the 1 bar of soap.
Yeah.
Would make a big difference.
Yeah.
We all take advantage. We all have to do our part.
Yeah.
Because that's the least you can do. So if you do it and I do it, but if now the best way, if you bring them together.
Yeah.
And then we do it in a big way.
Then you have bigger impact.
Big impact. I can tell you that you will not know the impact.
Yeah.
The blessing that the receiver would give to you. We live off the blessings of those people.
And you know what's funny, Sam? To you, the irony of it, by the way, to you it may be little.
Yeah. Sure.
It may be nothing, absolutely nothing. But to the recipient, to the receiver, that may be everything they need. Every day you wake up, that food which you don't want to eat because it's maoro.
Absolutely.
It's somebody's meal. They will be so thankful to have that food. That old t-shirt, that old shoe, which you can no longer put on to go to your meetings, to go to your workplace, for you it's nothing. It's little.
Absolutely.
But there's someone out there who needs just that, to go to church, to go to wherever they need to go. So like you said, what you think is not enough is enough for somebody.
Absolutely. It is something we need to continue reflecting about, and we need to bring people of like minds
Yeah.
to ensure that our impact is felt.
Yeah.
I can do so many good people
Yeah.
are doing small impact stories
Yeah.
like we are doing.
Yeah.
But if you bring it in a big way, we can be able to make.
That's what we're here to do. We want to spark off that mindset change. We want to see people with a changed mindset from receiving to now giving. But just before you wrap it up for us, I want to encourage people to come to the comment section. We want to hear your views about what you think. Should we wait until we have enough? What's your opinion? Send us your opinion. We want you to be part of this conversation, and we want to see what you think. So Sam, what's the takeaway? If anybody if they came on the show right now, what have they missed? If they've been on the show, what should they take home? 1 or 2, 3 points.
One is you can always start with the little you have.
Yeah.
2 is you can actually have impact.
Yeah.
However small.
Yeah.
3 is to trust in God. That you know what that trust.
That part.
In times of giving
Yeah.
and times of receiving.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you do not know where God, and you do everything with faith.
Yeah.
So with your faith clears up your
Yeah.
mind if you've
Yeah.
made a wrong decision, if you've spent much.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you donate to the rich.
Yeah.
I would just one thing. I have a project. I did a project sometime in 2015, I think 2013, 14, and 15. I used to donate mouth guards for the rugby team at my former alumni school.
You're all about rugby.
Yeah. So I used to give, and this is a rich school.
Yeah.
I mean, St. Mary's College is one of the top boys' school in the country.
Yeah.
With children students who are from wealthy families, they can afford.
Yeah.
But I would spend and buy for the whole rugby team mouth guards.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned, you'd ask me a question. You mean they don't afford? The school can't afford that need? Or
Yeah.
the parents can't afford it? It's amazing.
Yeah.
The blessing, the excitement in the face of the students that somebody has given us.
That sparks off something deep inside me. You know, the thing is, you do not have to worry or care about the receiver.
Yeah.
You don't have to say, but they are richer than me.
Yes.
I think the courtesy is in the initiative you take to give, to reach out and give out.
The reflection.
Yeah.
The people you meet, the naysayers, will come and try to take away that, to dim your light.
Yeah.
Because that is my calling.
I read about a very historic act that happened sometime in the US. They have, just like here in the UK, they have what they call drive-through.
Yes.
You know, for people, we have them in Uganda now on KFC. Some KFCs.
Oh yes, a drive-through.
So you don't have to leave your car. You just go on the border and order. Maybe talk to someone. Some of them have someone who's taking notes, and they have a microphone. They're talking back. So they have different systems. But anyway, so on the drive-through, I think it was a lady, paid for their lunch, and they said, "I'm also paying for the car behind me." So when the car drove to the window to pay, they said, "No, it's been paid by the car before you." They said, "Okay, I'll pay for the car behind me."
Oh.
So it sparked off a chain that went for the whole day. Now, it went from day one, it took a week. So the guy came back, he didn't know what he had done. And guess what? He came to pay, saying it's been paid for by the car before you. So that's what you're telling us. That the courtesy of giving, it now sparks off a reflection. And now what he did, he said, "I'm paying for the next 10 cars."
And now, and that statement brings that, and wrap it up as you mentioned.
Yeah.
And also me.
Yeah.
Somebody is going to give me.
Absolutely, in some way.
In some way.
Maybe you don't need anything, but maybe you're driving on the road and you need someone to cut your slack so you can join the road.
Such is the beautiful thing about what we're discussing about, David.
Yeah.
That if you give, you might know, you don't know at what point.
Back to the Bible. The Bible says, "Give and it shall come back to you. Good measure, shaken down, running over."
You're the Bible man. So
I'm telling you.
So we live a life.
Yeah.
In a spiritual, I remember I mentioned somebody. we are living we are spiritual beings
Yeah.
living a human experience.
Absolutely.
What do you want your experience to be like? Shall you sulk in your time of giving? Shall you beef and get annoyed when somebody's asking? I mean, joy is in that. That's the human experience, and this is what we are sharing about with our viewers.
Yeah.
The human experience.
Yeah.
Because when all is done and dusted, that spirit in us will leave, and then the human will be left back to dust.
Thank you so much, Sam. This is very, very, very impactful to me. I don't know about you out there. I think you've picked something. If you picked something, come to the comment section. Tell us about what you've learned today. We want to know. Also, don't be shy. Share this link. Tell someone about it. Email someone about it. Invite them to come on the channel and like and subscribe. Also, maybe they can comment. We want to make sure that this thing keeps growing and growing. And who knows where it will go? Who knows who it will touch?
I mean, it's touched somebody, and guess what? We're waiting for that person that's touched to be
absolutely.
the receiving side.
So thank you for being with us from the beginning. Remember to subscribe to that channel. Do not let this opportunity pass. Click the bell button to make sure that you're notified the next time we come back. Sam is going to come back next time, and next time I think we should talk about your profession side.
Absolutely.
We've been on the humanitarian side, the community person. Now we want to see a bit about profession. What do you do, kind of? So maybe in a word or two, if you can farewell our viewers.
Yeah, I want to take this opportunity to thank David for inviting me, and also to pray and wish that anybody who is watching this show, and if it is impacting on you, please continue watching this show. We are here to share our life experiences, and not only share but to impact in terms of the decision making out there, the policy makers, the people want to make a difference in our communities. You are all welcome.
Yeah.
Join us in the struggle to make this world a better place.
Absolutely, absolutely. And with that, viewers, we want to thank you for keeping with us. See you next time.